So I made kind of an unexpected purchase at kind of a weird time of the year, but recently I had sold my orange Sears 10XL garden tractor with a snow blade on it in the hopes to find something with a hydraulic blade on it, and I ended up finding this. This is a Case 646. And I don't know if the video really does it any justice, but this thing is way, way bigger than my Sears. In fact, the pictures online, I didn't think it was that big until I saw it in person. So I was looking at John Deere's. I was looking to find one with a four-way hydraulic blade up and down and side to side. But all the John Deere guys asked so much for their equipment, I just couldn't find one that was in my price range. And I ended up finding this, and I paid $1,700 for it. And even though it doesn't have a hydraulic blade on it, I guess it doesn't hurt to have another loader. But my idea was that I could just fabricate a plow attachment that I could put here instead of the bucket, so I could have both a plow and a bucket, which in that case I probably won't be able to really angle the blade or anything like that, but I'll still have the down pressure and everything. And obviously this thing has all the hydraulics on it already. It does not have an Onan in it. It has a 670cc, I think 22 horse Predator V-Twin engine in it. That's not even old. The only problem with it is the carburetor's filthy, so it runs like crap. The guy I got it from bought the engine brand new, stuck it on there, used it, and then parked it, and it just sat for a long time, and the gas went bad, and now it's runs pretty choppy. But the nice thing about that is parts for those Predator engines are cheap, especially on Amazon. So I can get all the parts that I need for the engine, and if for some reason the connecting rod exploded out the side of the block, it's not like I couldn't go to my nearest Harbor Freight store and buy a new one, even though they are I think they're about $1,000 new. It's 22 horse engines, but and it does have a updated pump on it. I don't know if you can see it that well. I don't have good lighting in here, but the pump actually is, I think, too much for this unit. It has incredible hydraulic power, which, in theory should be good, but you don't want to blow out hoses and break fittings and stuff because you have so much pressure. It does have the rear hydraulics, and it does work. In fact, if you have this lever any direction other than right in the middle, it won't even start because the hydraulic power put on the pump won't even allow the engine to turn over. So you can hook up log splitters, you can hook up, I believe Case has tillers that are hydraulically driven, so that's all there. And it's got the 3-point here with the cylinder to go up and down. That's awesome. Yeah, it's got big old tires on it, and apparently some kind of homemade wheel weights. It's got what appears to be a John Deere seat on there. With a fuel tank under there, I believe. And I guess one of the nice things about this is that it is gas. I was looking at a John Deere 430 that had a 3-cylinder Yanmar in it. But in a way, I'm kind of glad it's not diesel. That way I just don't have to deal with the diesel stuff. I think with gas engines, it's kind of nice not having to you know, have glow plugs and plug it in and have block heaters and gelling issues and all that. I just, you know, kind of like the gas thing. It sounds halfway decent, even though this muffler's barely hanging on. Actually, it's not hanging on. So it's kind of loud. But I think the reason this is loose is because in order to get the hood to come up, you gotta take it off. In fact, I've never even looked under the hood. I haven't had this thing very long. The weather was halfway decent when I got it home, so I wanted to get it in here right away in case it didn't start, because our temperatures plunged down to the teens in Fahrenheit. Had a battery in there. I'm assuming this right here is the hydraulic oil tank. Got some weird exhaust kind of boogered on there. And it does have a little radiator looking deal there, which I really don't think this is liquid cooled, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Big old engine on there. Some of these hoses are a little bit rough, but it doesn't leak yet. But the nice thing about this is that these hydraulic fittings, I'm assuming, are the, you know, what is it, JIC or whatever, the American standard for hydraulics, I think. Because I have been dealing with DIN fittings with my mini excavator, and that's a pain. And aside from wanting to get a garden tractor with a hydraulic blade on it, I was also looking at these cheap Chinese stand-on skid steers that you see being sold at the same places as these mini excavators. And I'm actually really glad that I bought something that was built right, you know, built better, even though it is old. I don't know the year exactly, but it is old. But it's nice, you know, knowing that I can get hydraulic fittings and hoses and stuff made at normal hydraulic shops, and I don't have to special order DIN fittings from overseas that take forever to get delivered, and it's kind of a pain. Don't get me wrong, I love the mini excavator, but I wish it had American fittings on it. But yeah, so like I said, this is kind of a weird purchase for me because it's getting cold out now, so I don't have heat in this shed, and I hate working in the cold. So it's really not the best time of year. I'm teasing myself with this because I bought it and got it here, but now it's like I can't really work on it and I don't really need to use it yet. It's actually, I kind of wanted to wait until spring to find a machine, but I just saw this and I had to have it, so. It's got its bugs. Obviously, it's got, you know, the throttle cable doesn't stay, the choke cable works half the time. I have no idea if any of these, if the low pressure light works. Obviously, probably not, since it doesn't have the original engine in it. But I had to read up on these banana plate issues that I see is a problem with these. And I don't really know, it's probably in there somewhere, but I guess the forward reverse lever for the hydrostat oftentimes has some kind of issue, and you have to put in like a kit or something to fix it. But so far I haven't had any issues. I mean, I didn't really do much with it, I just drove it back here from out front, but it goes in forward and reverse pretty easy. Forward is fine. The only problem is reverse either is too slow or it's weak. I don't know yet what the verdict is on that, but it does have high-low, which is right here. So I think right now it's in high, if I'm right. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think it's in high. This thing right here is, I think, like a PTO. Or I'm sorry, maybe it's for the to operate the cylinder back here for the 3-point. And then this right here is a 4-way hydraulic valve. So up, down, and tilt, just like my Coyote. And it's pretty comfortable to use. Works pretty well. It's a little loosey-goose, but it's kind of expected because it's older. That right there is the drive pedal, and then that's a brake. And we got some pretty gnarly temperatures coming up here, low teens in Fahrenheit, so maybe even like 8 degrees here in a few days. So I really should be putting my $16,000 Coyote tractor in here instead of this, but for now I'm just kind of leaving it sit. So winter came fast this year. I went from being 50 and 60 and beautiful to cold and windy. So that kind of sucks. I am looking forward to doing some work to this thing though, and using it. It's a pretty sweet machine. The Sears that I sold, I had that for a long time, and it's kind of sad to see it go, but I guess it was just too small and too weak. I was getting kind of tired of it not being able to do a whole lot. So ever since buying this mini excavator and having a machine that actually digs really well, and the blade on this thing pushes a lot of material with ease because it has the weight for traction, and then obviously it has tracks on it. So I'm trying to get my machines to be just a little bit bigger, but I still have a soft spot for small machines. I'm not looking to buy anything huge. No skid loaders or, you know, bulldozers or anything. I like small stuff. I think it's fun to use, and even though it takes longer, I like doing projects with small equipment, so then I can at least prove it can be done. And then the sooner you get your projects done, the sooner you're bored. So that's why I don't understand why people are always so concerned with how much time it takes to dig and spread and whatever with your equipment. So all right, out of curiosity, I thought about trying to start this quick. Otherwise, I'm probably going to leave it in here for a while. Okay. The guy I bought it from said this choke cable has problems, so we'll see what happens here. Yeah, that battery's no good. All right. See if this thing will start. Oh, that's not good. Battery's about to fall out of this thing. All right. New jumper pack. This engine is supposed to shut off if it doesn't have enough oil in it, but it's a $1,000 engine. I don't want to rely solely on that. Try to do this without knocking stuff over. I gotta get this outside because I gotta get my log splitter out. And I can't with it in the way because I might sell it by a John Deere garden tractor. Negative. These will be loud. Yeah, I gotta fix that in the spring. That's gonna drive me nuts. Choke on. It's in neutral. This battery is probably really bad. It looks old. Looks really old, actually. Auto parts kid didn't mark out the date properly, so who knows. That is old though, I can tell. If anything, I might just have to drag it with my Coyote. Nope, not gonna work. Probably have to get a new battery for this thing, which it's okay. But I do have to get my lug splitter out. This is bad. It's funny. Yeah, it really sucks that it doesn't run. That is a heavy machine to move, especially when the bucket won't go up. I need to get a battery for it, and it does look like it's leaking hydraulic fluid somewhere under there, which isn't really a surprise. This didn't start because I'm an idiot. Right now. If the choke works. The guy that I bought this case from said that it just needed a carb clean, which I'm sure it does if it sat for a while, but I think there might be something else going on with it just based on the way that it sounds. And it smokes like crazy, which I don't think it should be doing that. I almost wonder if there's not a like a timing issue, or something's wrong with the camshaft or the valves. I don't know. But this is the wrong time of the year for me to dig into it and figure out what's going on with it. So I'm pretty much just gonna store it for the rest of the winter. Probably get it out in the spring and look into it. It's always possible that somebody knows something's wrong and they sell it to you and kind of try to write it off as an easier fix. Which, if something's wrong with the engine so bad that it's gonna need a serious rebuild or something, I might just get a different engine to put in it. Which, you know, I could always just drop another 22 horse Predator in there. But anyway, it's a cool tractor. I like it. The hydraulics probably need some work. I know a lot of the hoses are kind of dry rotted and cracked and probably not in the best shape. Also, I think there might be a cylinder that's leaking because it leaks a little bit of hydraulic oil on the ground when you let it sit for a while. So, need to go through pretty much everything on this tractor, and that'll be a later video. But I'm still glad that I bought it. I like it. Probably won't see much of it until the spring, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching.